basketball. A tough game in the second round of the Pac-12 tournament.
Watch out for that tuba.
And hey, there were some buffs at Pro Day.
Yeah, and that Sports Mag starts now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Mag. I'm Rose Heafy.
And I'm Alexis Perry. Last night's men's basketball game was a thriller, to say the least.
You know, and with their chance of dancing on the line, the Buffs fought hard deep into the game. Let's see how that played out. Arizona taking command of the Buff defense in Vegas, and Solomon Hill in with the easy swish. That's a three-pointer. Wildcats up by 9. Now Buffs have got to dig themselves out of a hole here, and special delivery to Xavier Johnson for the lay-in. Colorado trails by 4 points with 3 minutes to go. But you know what? So much for momentum shifter. Mark Lyons with a shot clock buzzer 3, bringing the Wildcat bench to their feet. That's energy.
And here we have the one and only Ski Booker. He has time to think. Decision is made. Chucks it up, makes a 3. The tension is rising as Arizona's lead is cut to 4. Fab freshmen are here on their toes. Less than 40 seconds left on the clock, but when the ball is in the hands of Nick Johnson, do not doubt his intensity in the paint. Here he is over X Johnson. Arizona fans pumped on this one as they beat their new Pac-12 rival. Let's take a look at the box score.
Got Andre Robertson with 15 points and Spencer Dinwiddie with 18.
And Nick Johnson, he had 18 points, leading the Wildcats. And Jarrett with 6 rebounds, 4 blocks, really doing great on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, you know, before the loss to the Arizona men, you know, they got some redemption against OSU.
Yes, they did. Let's go ahead and check out those highlights. Here's Tad Boyle himself. Roll Tad, first round of the tourney. The Buffs are seeking revenge. We'll pick it up in the end of the first. Chen tosses it into Spencer Dinwiddie. Look at this half-court beauty. You know what? You can't help but smile after that one. CU heads into halftime with a 6-point advantage. A little over 6 minutes left in the second half. Big man Burton with the ball, and you know what, Dre? You're just kind of in the way. There it is to Eric Moreland. Very impressive there for the Beavs.
Yeah, definitely impressive right there. You know, bringing it around the horn, Dinwiddie, he makes a move, but he'll dish it out to XJ with the finish, but he can't stick the landing. Johnson would have 16 points, but Dinwiddie would lead with 20. But here he is again with some magic, and Robertson, he would have the dagger here with the three-pointer, and now he'd be in double figures the rest of the night. The Buffs, they'd have to hang on for the win in the first round of the conference tourney. They would win 74-68.
That was definitely a fun one to watch. The Buffalo, Spencer Dinwiddie again leading the Buffs with 20 points, had 2 steals as well. X Johnson, Big X, wow, he's impressive. 16 points and 8 rebounds.
And Eric Moreland, 14 points, and Nelson would have 20 points with 4 rebounds, bringing that down those boards. But wow, Moreland with 13, that's a lot.
You know, in case you missed it, the Buffs lost here at home right before they head to the Pac-12 tournament.
They did. It was a real surprising loss, and it didn't really quite go as it was planned.
Let's go ahead and check out those highlights.
You know, last game at the Coors Event Center, getting things started on the right foot, Sabatino Chen lights it up with an early 3 on senior night. You know, Burton, he starts backing it up and hook, line, and sinker. How do you even defend that? I don't even know. Eric Moreland, he runs into traffic in the paint, scrambling for the ball, but he would get 2. And Chen going out, he's going to go out in style on senior night, and here he goes from behind the line again. Way to go for the senior. Xavier Talton leading the pack, and he finds Jeremy Adams in the corner for a big 3. Buffs would go into halftime leading 32-26.
Dancers loved it at halftime, that's for sure. Here we are, 5 minutes into the second half. Schaefer with an easy 3. Wow. And senior Sab Chin with that beautiful main flowing, fast drive right past Burton and let it roll off the fingertips. Man, he will be missed next year. Dinwiddie with the long pass to his buddy Ski. Ski must have seen Sab's moves earlier, because there it is one more time. The Beavers can be stopped. Roberto Nelson from the top of the arc. Jay Scott in his face, he nails it. And look at Burton. He just chucks it in there like he's Elway. The Beavers definitely won this one 64-58. The Buffs' only 3rd loss at home of the season. Junior forward Andre Robertson was named the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. Roberson's first ever defensive award. Andre led the league with 11.5 rebounds and averages 2.3 steals and 1.4 blocks per game. Roberson also averaged a double-double this season. Sophomore Spencer Dinwiddie joined Roberson with the all-conference first-team honors, making this the first Buffs duo to make an all-conference team since 1969. Freshman Josh Scott was also selected to the Pac-12 all-freshman team.
With hopes that the CU men's basketball team will get a seed in the NCAA tournament, here's this week's trivia question. In the Chauncey Billups-led NCAA tournament run for the Buffs in 1997, what college basketball powerhouse did Colorado upset as a number 9 seed? We'll have the answer for you later in the show.
Looks like it's time to make some room in the CU trophy case. The ski team completed the largest final day comeback in NCAA championship history, claiming its 19th national title. Wow, the Buffs rallied from a 54-point deficit and captured the win with 718 points. Wow. CU edged out of the powerhouse Utah, Vermont, and the University of Denver. This is Colorado's 17th national championship under head coach Richard Rojas, tying legendary skipper Bill Marot. Sophomore Rune Ogard won the men's NCAA classical individual title. After the race, Rojas added that the Buffs are already looking towards recapturing the title next year.
Senior Emma Coburn took home the NCAA championship for the indoor mile on Saturday night. Coburn finished with a time just under 4 minutes and 30 seconds. This is CU's first ever NCAA championship in the indoor mile, and Coburn's time ranks as the 3rd fastest in NCAA history. With this win, Coburn earned her 2nd indoor mile All-American honor. This is Coburn's 2nd NCAA title. In 2011, she won the 3,000-meter steeplechase.
And when we return, Wiley Yerg and Anton Baru discuss the men's Pac-12 tournament and whether the Buffs will be dancing.
Absolutely. And, Sports Mag's Josh Christensen took a trip to CU football's Pro Day to give us some insight on the players entering the NFL draft. Don't go away.
Join the Peace Corps are usually very adventurous people, very outdoorsy. They usually are very caring, very passionate people.
For the 2nd year in a row, CU Boulder has outproduced all other universities in the nation, both big and small, in the number of alumni who are serving as Peace Corps volunteers. That's a very, very important thing for us. Peace Corps continues to be the gold standard for international volunteer service. It's Americans making a difference around the world, and many of those Americans have come from this great university. I'm not sure if it's the beautiful setting or the mountains or the weather, but one thing's for sure, there's a special civic pride on this campus.
The great spirit of volunteerism here on campus and internationalism that you find here really just kind of brings Peace Corps out a little more than it does on other campuses, I think.
You should be very proud to come from a campus that inspires so much public service and collectively works to build a better world.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Lewis and Clark, great explorers. Hey. Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Would you check out the West for me? Oh, sure. And they take their keelboat up the Missouri. Oh, Buffalo. Then they built Fort Mandan. They're at 1804. Made some friends along the way. I'm Sacagawea. Through the Columbia Gorge. Ah!
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
The sweet Pacific Ocean! Yeah!
Going into this weekend, the Buffs looked like a sure thing for the NCAA tournament, but now it's not so certain. Sports Mag's Rose Heafy stormed the CU campus to find out how the Buffs are feeling going into Selection Sunday.
CU campus, I'm talking to students today about whether or not they think the CU men's basketball team is going to make it into the NCAA tournament this year. Selection Sunday is right around the corner, and let's see what the students thought.
Yes.
Yeah, hands down.
Definitely.
I don't think they have a lot of chances.
Because they're the Buffs. We're the best.
Yeah, it's half loyalty, half actual fact. They've been really good.
They went on a nice streak of wins, but they're nowhere near playoff form.
Yeah, I think definitely they're going to get in.
I do, yeah. We've been pretty good on neutral courts this season, so now that we don't have to play in any opposing courts, I think we'll be all set.
I'd say yes, too. I mean, who knows how far they're going to go in the tournament, but honestly, we're one of the better teams in the Pac-12.
And I'd have to say Sabatino. Guy's been on his game. He's been super consistent. Really can't complain with how he's been playing.
Spencer Dinwiddie has been the most consistent player all season.
It's hard to say. I think the beauty of their team is they're so balanced.
I think Josh Scott's been a big part of our offense. He's, for a freshman, he's really been killing it.
Xavier Johnson's been huge for them this year.
I'd say Spencer Dinwiddie. He's been really on point with everything, every game that I've been to.
Yeah, we've had our ups and downs, so I think a 10 seed sounds about right.
I think that's a pretty good number to go in with. Number 10's fair. It's not too high, it's not too low, it's just right.
I would have to agree. We're right in the Goldilocks zone there.
I could see him all the way up to a 6 or 7. The bracketology people usually like to go with the hot teams.
Well, it's been a little bit of an up and down season for the Buffs this year, so it really is going to come down to Sunday to see whether or not they make the NCAA tournament. I'm Rose Heafy, CU Sports Mag. If the Buffs do make it in the tournament, they have their work cut out for them. Sports Mag's Wiley Urig and Anton Baru sat down and talked about what the Buffs will have to do to make a splash in the tournament.
Hi there, I'm Anton Baru for this week's edition of Double Team alongside my friend Wiley Urig. So let's get into it. We'll talk about some men's Buff basketball. They played 3 games in the last 6 days, and I was watching them the whole time. I was exhausted just seeing them run up and down the court. I can't even imagine how sore and tired they are now.
Oh yeah, come March, you have games all the time, and it's gotta be hard on the players working every day and trying to get these late victories. How'd you think about the OSU game for our season's finale?
Well, honestly, I think the season kind of ended on a bittersweet note. We really seemed to be gaining some momentum. We had that big game against number 9 Oregon that we beat them, and then we just kind of dropped a goose egg at home against Oregon State. It's too bad, but we did finish our 3rd regular season under head coach Tad Boyle. Roll Tad.
Roll Tad.
I think that was great, and headed into the Pac-12 tournament, I thought we were looking pretty good except for that hiccup.
Yeah, OSU. We had a tough loss at home, but in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament, we came back and avenged the loss. We beat them 74-68. We played well. Dinwiddie led the team with 20 points. Robertson, coming back from his illness, had a nice 12 points and 7 rebounds. However, we did have a shaky end of the game. Missed some free throws down the stretch. If you're missing free throws, you're keeping the team in the game. So how'd you think about that?
Well, you touched on it perfectly about the turnovers. Literally turning the ball over and just giving them points away. That's like, if you give them 25 points, that's about a 50-point turnaround right there, and that's obviously a big reason why we lost the game. And then playing against Arizona, we were only down by about 4 or 5 points, 2 possessions with a couple minutes left in the game, and then we just gave it away. There was that controversial traveling call that I didn't agree with, but in the end, you just got to pull it away yourselves and can't depend on the refs.
Yeah, and it did look like it went off of Xavier's stomach. So,
yeah.
That was just one little mistake. But CU had too many mistakes in the game. We had 10 turnovers in the first half, led to Arizona's 15 points. We also were 5 from 12 from the free throw line in the first half. When you're not making free throws again, those are easy buckets, easy points, and when you're not doing that, it's just setting up for failure. So it was really hard to see that. Did you see any accomplishments that you might come out with?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that the Buffs they have been consistent in the offense, that they're high pace and really, really do a great job moving the ball in transition. The thing is that they just got to limit those turnovers because those are just killing them right now. And it's one thing, if a team can't keep up with you, that's great, but if you can't handle the ball at the same time and just giving it back, what's the point of running an offense like that? But honestly, I think it's going forward, it's really good, and I think we have a good chance heading into the Pac-12 tournament. The NCAA tournament. I just went golfing with Joe Lenardi last week, actually, and we're supposed to be projected as a number 10 seed playing number 7 Notre Dame. I'm not worried at all, even though we're probably going to be an underdog. I just think that probably we can outman them physically, and also I'm not worried about anything coming down the stretch. I think the one thing that concerns me regarding Notre Dame athletics is that if any of the basketball players have fake girlfriends too.
And their jerseys, if you saw last night in the Big East tournament, very, very poor choice for the jerseys. That neon green combination, I don't know. I didn't see how that fit. But coming into the big dance, how do you see the Buffs going? How far do you see them going in the big dance?
I'm not really sure, but I'd love to get them to the Sweet 16. That'd give Boulder a reason to celebrate. That's all the time we have today. I'm Anton Brew, along with Wiley Uhrig. Happy birthday, by the way. Back to you guys at the desk.
Last weekend, the CU women's basketball team was in Seattle for the Pac-12 tournament. After a win over Washington, the Buffs were up against the top-seeded Stanford Cardinal. Although the game was close from the start, the Cardinal began to pull away from the 4-seeded Buffs for a 61-47 win. The loss kicked the Buffs out of the Pac-12 tournament, but Coach Lappy was proud of her team, stating that they played hard the whole game. Stanford then went on to win the Pac-12 tournament. Before that, women's basketball beat the Washington Huskies in the second round of the Pac-12 tournament. Colorado struggled to take the lead into the last few minutes of the first half. In the second half of the game, the Buffs battled back and forth against a Husky team that just wouldn't go away. Colorado's Chucky Jeffrey scored 5 consecutive points in order to recover the Buffs' momentum towards the end of the second half. The Buffs won their 10th in a row, 70-59. The victory advanced them to the semifinal game against Stanford.
You know, this time of the year has seniors across campus really nervous about job interviews. Sports Mag's Josh Christensen reports on an interview process that made some CU football players really sweat.
11 University of Colorado student athletes got one last chance to show professional teams that they have what it takes to make it in the big league. Despite the disappointing season, CU Pro Day offered NFL scouts from across the country an opportunity to see the best football players Colorado has to offer.
The fact that there's scouts here looking at these guys shows that there was talent on the field. Things just didn't work out as we had hoped.
The Buffalo suited up and worked out for scouts from teams including the Ravens, Bears, Cardinals, Broncos, just to name a few. New York Giants tight ends coach Michael Pope knows the importance of college pro days.
The individual pro days allow scouts and or coaches to come and see the things that the pro scouts would put a player through as opposed to their last run, which was with a college situation.
Drills included the broad jump, the 40-yard dash, position drills, and the 3-cone drill. But Pro Day offers more than just the measurables.
Obviously, they got lots of film they can watch on you. This is their first time getting a chance to meet you, see you work out, how you prepare, how you go through the drills, how you take coaching, all those type of small things that really mean a lot to NFL coaches.
The event creates an opportunity for players and coaches to interact on a personal level.
So it's very, very much trying to determine what's in their personality that could fit into your team concept.
But at the end of the day, numbers speak to coaches the loudest. With the margin of error so slim for some of these NFL hopefuls, the difference between getting drafted and ending your college career could be less than a tenth of a second.
Explode now, let's go. Explode, let's go. Oh, it's huge. It's one of those things where it's like a make it or break it.
It's an important job interview you can do.
Unlike the NFL Combine, the Buffs have the advantage and comfort of working at their home facility.
Kind of all the mind games they played at the Combine. Just being at home, I think, made it a little bit more, ground down.
Pro Day also allows athletes who are not able to attend the Combine an opportunity to highlight their skills to potential employers. Players like Ray Polk, who suffered an injury during the season, got their shot to show what they can do when healthy.
It was hard getting back into the groove, and what I needed to do is come out here and show that I can move around, I'm mobile and everything, and that the ankle's not bothering me anymore.
So. Hopefully this kind of gets the ball rolling, and hopefully I open some eyes or at least earn something from any team.
The extended offseason is long and tough, but it's a necessary evil to make these players' dreams come true.
It's a roller coaster. There's a lot of ups and downs, but you just got to stay positive and keep working. But it's a grind.
Josh Christensen, News Team Boulder.
Coming up next, Allie Levine will break down spring football and Pro Day on Buff Banter.
And Sports Mag takes a look at an age-old tradition of basketball games that far too well.
We won 24 NCAA championships, sent 18 NASA astronauts into space, inspired 4 Nobel laureates, unlocked the genetic secrets of cancer in a place that averages over 300 days of sunshine a year, ranks as America's smartest and healthiest city, and is home to the mightiest mascot in college sports. If you didn't know what the University of Colorado is all about, now you do.
You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
With all this talk about basketball lately, it's easy to forget about football, and there are plenty of questions brewing about the new program. Luckily, SportsMag's Allie Levine is here to answer those brain busters in this week's Buff Banter.
Hey everyone, I'm Allie Levine, and welcome to this week's edition of Buff Banter, where I'll be answering your Facebook and Twitter questions about all things CU sports. Our first question today comes to us from Paige Alvarez on Facebook. She asks, what exactly is Pro Day? Good question, Paige, thanks. So, Pro Day is the next step after the Combine for NFL prospects. It's a chance for NFL teams to send their scouts, general managers, and/or coaches to get a look at a prospect's skill sets. Most players benefit from this day since they tend to put up better numbers when working out in the familiar environment of their own football facility. CU had its Pro Day this past Wednesday, and representatives from 23 different teams were in attendance to see what 8 CU players had to offer. As expected, the 2 standouts of the day were Combine participants Nick Casa and David Bakhtiari. I guess we'll just have to wait until April to see just how memorable those performances were. Our next question today comes from Marty Konings. He asks, how do you think the amount of playing time that last year's freshmen received will affect the football team this year? Thanks, Marty. Well, a number of freshmen certainly saw a decent amount of playing time last season, which might not have helped the Buffs' cause at the time. But now, going into the fall, the experience they gained provides the Buffs with some much-needed depth from Coach Mack to choose from. Well, that's all I have for you today. I'm Allie Levine. Back to the desk.
Colorado athletic teams have always been able to look towards the sidelines for some extra support, and the co-ed cheer team is one of those squads. SportsMag's Elise Farino takes us to practice to see how they're preparing for something big.
They're there at every game, ready to pump up the crowds and push CU athletes to the limits. But now it's time for CU to be there for the team that's always there to cheer them on as they go to compete in the Universal Spirit Association National Competition. And this year's a little different for the team.
We're going to Anaheim, California to compete, and it's the first time that we're competing as a large co-ed, so that's really awesome, and that means a great step for the co-ed program for Colorado cheerleading.
These Buffs work their hardest to be the best. When they're not cheering on other CU athletes, they're hitting the gym 2 times a week for strength training and practicing their tumbles, jumps, and flips for 3 hours a day, 3 times a week. All for the love of the sport and for their nationals routine.
It's definitely fun cheering for any college team, and we've definitely come together for nationals this year as a team as a whole, and we've been getting a lot of stuff done every single night, improving on a lot of our skills, our technique, our jumps, tumbling, everything.
We work just as hard as other athletes because we still go to workouts and train and have just as many hours of practice.
Here's a taste of what the Buffs will bring to sunny California. I'm Elise Farino, CU Sports Mag.
Dizzy watching them at basketball games, but imagine what they're feeling. Sports Mag's Megan Thompson caught up with the band to show us what a Super Duper Tuba cheer is all about.
With just 8 minutes left to go in the second half, it's time for the tuba cheer. But what exactly is it?
Anything we plan during halftime, but there are 3 tubas. 3 times we play tuba. First time we do something random, second time we do something random, third time we spin. Spin really fast as we can.
They do get extremely dizzy, but they do have a trick.
After we're done spinning the third time, all of us will spin back around once.
It helps them get their balance back.
They may look well rehearsed, but in reality, they don't practice. They only have one shot, and that's right here on this court.
During the sectionals, we explain to all the freshmen what tuba cheer is all about, because we do it during stampedes, during football games, all that stuff. And that's the only time we train.
When it comes to the tuba cheer, you never know what you're gonna get.
I like to do pong, have 2 people be paddles and then 1 in the middle. I think the best one was jump rope, probably. We get a big long rope and then one of us goes in and 2 of us go in. Very hard to do while playing at the same time.
The fans love it, and it's another way to get into the game.
Since it's something we've always done and something people enjoy, we feel it's important that we keep it consistent and alive.
The tuba cheer's been around as long as anyone can remember. It's just another one of CU's many traditions. Megan Thompson, CU Sports Mag.
One day I'll learn how to tuba. When we return, we'll reveal the answer to that tricky trivia question.
Don't go anywhere.
This house was almost saved from a fire that was almost put out by neighbors who almost volunteered. As generous a nation as we are, sometimes instead of giving, we almost give. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more time.
today.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Here's my nephew Scruff, about to run into trouble again.
Hey, Bobo, where's your video game? In here. Well, look at this. Uh-oh, it's my dad's. You want to hold it? What'll I do?
If you get my new comic activity book, More Adventures with Scruff, you'll find out what you can do about bullies and guns. And you'll see lots of games.
Cool.
For your free copy of my new comic activity book, just write Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652, and help take a bite out of crime.
I want it, I want it.
You know trouble can start when the clock hits 3. When there's no place after school for kids to be. Nothing to do but hanging on city streets. When mom and dad are working to make ends meet. Now it's time to beat the street.
With after-school programs, city kids aren't left alone and vulnerable. They keep on learning between 3 and 6, but these programs need your support. Join with the Urban League to keep them going. Call now, because it's
time to beat the street.
The women's tennis team beat the Arizona Wildcats 4-2 on Sunday to improve their conference play to 1-1. This win ends a 2-year, 26-match winless slide of regular season conference play and improves the Buffs to 6-6 on the season. Juliet Stern and Erin Sanders got the first win with an 8-4 victory, and Wendy Janssens and Carla Manzi-Tenorio also won their doubles match. Senior Erin Sanders closed the meet with a 3-set victory over Akila James.
And now it's time for the answer to that tricky trivia question. In case you missed it, here it is one more time. In the Chauncey Billups-led NCAA tournament run for the Buffs in 1997, which college powerhouse did Colorado upset in the number 9 seed? The answer, the Buffs knocked off Indiana before losing in the second round to the top-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels, who advanced to the Final Four.
All right, well, hopefully, they'll do well on Selection Sunday and they'll make it into the NCAA tournament.
Definitely. Going back a little bit on the Pac-12 tournament, I really loved seeing Ben Mills out there. He played, I think, something around 5 minutes for the Buffs against.
It's so funny to see him out there. He just runs so weird, but he's definitely a fan favorite, and it's always great to see, players that are on the bench, to contribute like that.
Exactly. I mean, he only played 18 minutes throughout the entire season, but they're just like, hey, Arizona game, second round of the Pac-12 tournament. Why not?
Go
ahead and join us.
And, maybe, hopefully, if they make it to the NCAA tournament, it could pay off for them. So, that's all the time we have this week. So
be sure to follow us on Twitter @CU Sports Mag. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week.